Audie Leon Murphy was born on June 20th, 1926 to Josie Murphy and Emmett Berry in Kingston, Texas near Greenville. When he was young, his family moved to a farm between Farmersville and Greenville. Audie Murphy dropped out of this school in the 8th grade to help support his family, working in cotton fields for any farmer that would hire him. And later, he worked in a gas station and broken-down radio repair shop. In 1936, Audie Murphy's father, pictured here between young Audie and his mother, abandoned his family, putting much pressure on Audie to support them. His sister Nadine Murphy Laurie recalled that Audie's skills with a rifle hunting squirrels and rabbits helped him survive the Great Depression. In 1941, Audie's mother passed away, and Audie began dreaming of becoming a soldier as World War II raged in Europe. But when he tried to enlist, he was rejected for being underage. Then came December 7th, 1941, and the Japanese attack on the American naval base at Pearl Harbor. Millions of Americans began trying to enlist, and Audie Murphy was no different, but his small size and boyish looks made this impossible. Finally, with a note from his older sister, Corinne, stating that he was 18, Audie enlisted in this Greenville, Texas post office in June 1942. In 1943, Audie shipped out for North Africa and joined the 3rd Division of the United States Army and was issued the M1 rifle. Historian Tom Mooney discusses this significance.
This is the M1 Garand, the weapon that General George Patton called the greatest implement of battle ever devised. In many ways, he was correct. It was almost indestructible and would work under any conditions. Its .30-06 caliber makes today's M16 round look like a BB. The only problem with this weapon was its size. It weighed over 10 pounds fully loaded. Audie Murphy was not quite 5'5" and weighed less than 130 pounds. As you see, when this weapon is fired, it has quite an impressive recoil. The fact that Audie was as accurate with this weapon as he was is a testament to his incredible marksmanship. Now later on, as Audie rose through the ranks, he was issued the M1 carbine, lightweight, easy to handle. He lost a little bit in firepower, but it was much more suited for a man of Audie's stature.
His first action was in the invasion of Sicily in 1943. It was in Sicily that Audie killed his first 2 men, gunning down a pair of Italian officers on horseback with his M1 rifle. He began to rise in rank, and it was these experiences that shaped his future actions as a soldier. Audie's next combat was in the Italian campaign, which began with the American landings at Salerno. The fighting in Italy would last from September 1943 to June 1944, making it the longest American action in the war. Audie and the 3rd Division were in almost constant combat during this period. As the campaign dragged on, Murphy began earning medals, including his first Bronze Star. It was in Italy where Audie Murphy experienced his saddest moment in wartime.
Audie Leon Murphy's best friend was Private Laddie Tipton. One day while on combat, they attacked a German gun emplacement. One of the Germans yelled, "Kamerad," and waved the white flag signaling surrender. Laddie Tipton stood up and said, "I'll get him." Audie Murphy said, "Get down, you can't trust him." But it was too late. Laddie Tipton was struck in the chest by a machine gun. As he fell into Murph's arms, his last words were, "Murph!" Then he died. Audie became enraged.
Into Hell and Back, Audie described yelling like an insane man and going on the attack. Audie wrote that he remembered the experience as a nightmare. A demon entered my body. My whole being was concentrated on killing. Audie threw grenades and fired a captured German machine gun, similar to the one in the statue of Murphy. Single-handedly, he knocked out several German machine gun nests. For this action, he received the Distinguished Service Cross. By 1945, Audie's unit had begun fighting in France, and he had earned the Battlefield Commission to the rank of lieutenant. Murphy by then had won several more medals and had been wounded twice. It was in France that Murphy's actions would make him a legend. His squad faced 2 battalions of Germans supported by tanks. Murphy ordered his men to retreat as he fought the enemy alone. He climbed upon a tank, manned a .50 caliber machine gun, and fired at the Germans while calling in artillery. His tank was hit twice by enemy shells, and Murphy was wounded, but he kept firing until many Germans were killed and their advance stopped. For this action, Audie Murphy received the Congressional Medal of Honor. Audie Murphy would return as America's most decorated soldier. Despite the fact that Audie was suffering from what would later be known as post-traumatic stress disorder, he would become a movie star, appearing in 44 feature films. It was his role in playing himself in To Hell and Back, a movie based about his autobiography of the same name that would become his most famous performance. Audie Murphy was also a country music songwriter, and 17 of his songs became hits by respected artists, such as Charlie Pride and Porter Wagoner. Unfortunately, Audie Murphy's life was tragically cut short on May 28, 1971. That Memorial Day weekend, his private plane crashed into Brush Mountain, 20 miles west of Roanoke, Virginia. All 5 aboard the plane were killed, including Audie Murphy. Audie Murphy was buried with full military honors in Arlington National Cemetery. His is the second most visited gravesite after that of President John F. Kennedy. Each year, a group of students from Benjamin Franklin Middle School in Dallas, Texas, travels to Washington, D.C., and while there, they place a Texas flag on Audie's grave to show respect. Today, his legacy is honored in Greenville, Texas, at Audie Murphy American Cotton Museum, located near Audie's birthplace. It honors the memory of this great American hero. Museum Director Susan Lanning discusses Audie's legacy. What is it that you think people should remember most about Audie Murphy as an individual in history?
You didn't stop that, did you?
To me, I think the fact that even today, World War II was early 1940s, that was such a long time ago, he still inspires people today. And the fact that he did so much with his life, and he only lived to 47. Probably, to me, one of the most interesting things about him is the fact that he did all of these things in the military, and he started out as just your regular foot soldier. He wasn't anybody special. He was just like everybody else going into the military. Nobody ever expected anything of him, and then he turned around and he was an amazing soldier, and he accomplished so much. And he did it all without, between his acting career, he was always very down to earth. He was never what I would consider, he never acted like a star, that kind of thing, or like he ever did anything special.
Thank you. In a time when honor, sacrifice, and courage evidently meant nothing to many Americans, it is more important than ever to remember men like Audie Leon Murphy, a Texas legend, American hero.